Former Managing Director of the Life Esidimeni Group, Dr. Morgan Mkhatshwa, is back on the stand today at the inquest into the tragic deaths of 144 mentally ill patients. The inquest sitting in the High Court in Pretoria resumed on Monday following a 4-week break. Let's bring in SABC News senior reporter Chriselda Lewis for more on this. A very good morning to you, Chriselda. Day 2 of the inquest. What can we expect today?
Well, Desiree, you would recall that lawyers for former Gauteng Health MEC Chriselda Lewis had yesterday completed their cross-examination of the former Life Esidimeni Managing Director, Dr. Morgan Mkhatshwa. Her lawyers had basically suggested it was not the decision of Mahlangu to reduce the number of beds at Life Esidimeni, which ultimately led to the transferring of the mental health care patients, but said that it was a national policy and that the former MEC was merely implementing that decision, and that decision basically on that policy had been taken by the then health minister, you'd recall, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, to which Dr. Mkhatshwa basically agreed that the strategic plan, which was given by the Gauteng Department of Health, was a national framework. He also said that that strategy was given the thumbs up even before Mahlangu became MEC. That was according to Mahlangu's lawyers. Mahlangu's lawyers also slamming Dr. Mkhatshwa for not being present when all the patients were being moved from Life Esidimeni to ensure that they had all their clothes and their medication before they were taken to those other facilities. But when he was asked whether he believed that the former MEC Chriselda Lewis was responsible for the deaths, this is what he had to say.
What I want to put to you, Doctor, is that my client, Ms. Mahlangu, was not personally responsible for any of these deaths. Do you have any comment?
As indicated, I cannot, everybody, we all are going to die at some stage, and it depends on the surrounding circumstances. So I wasn't there at the NGOs. I cannot be able then to put a finger or point a finger at Ms. Mahlangu and say she caused the death.
Well, Desiree, the cross-examination of Dr. Mkhatshwa will continue this morning by, amongst others, lawyers representing Dr. Bani Selabano, the former head of Department of Gauteng Health.
Yeah. Chriselda, yesterday escalating year-on-year tariff increases were put on the spotlight. Tell us more about this.
Well, Desiree, the argument that the lawyers representing Chriselda Lewis had made, you'd recall that at the forefront of the reasoning why the patients were moved from Life Esidimeni was relating to the cost implication of it. So the lawyers representing the former MEC had basically put it to Dr. Morgan Mkhatshwa that, in fact, the budget itself had increased, so why had there been reasoning given that the patients needed to be moved as a result of, money issues, and that there had been indications even before that when the Gauteng Health Department was unable to meet its own obligations in terms of paying Life Esidimeni the money that was required to take care of these patients. So that was one of the issues that came under center stage, where seemingly the indication or implication that the former Health MEC Chriselda Lewis was responsible for the deaths of these 144 patients. Basically, you're seeing the lawyers there trying to shift some kind of blame to say that this was a national policy. She was merely implementing it. The decision itself was taken even before Chriselda Lewis had become MEC, and that money was not the sole issue why the patients were moved from Life Esidimeni. We're also expecting that to continue today. We're expecting to hear much more about, the monetary issues pertaining to why the patients themselves were moved from Life Esidimeni.
Thank you so much for bringing us up to speed. Of course, we'll be watching developments as they unfold today. Chriselda Lewis is SABC News senior reporter.